guys. Welcome to the second edition of, is it the second edition? I guess it's called the second edition of the Think on These Things podcast, where we take some of the world's most digested literature, beliefs, thought processes, and we just put them on a table. We go through them, we apply them through a biblical worldview, and then most importantly, we find a way to make them applicable to you right now. My name is Aaron Roberts. I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. Before we jump in though, I just want to invite you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning at 8 a.m. You can check out my Facebook and my IG for Sweating and Meditating, where after workout, I'll put out a motivational video, just kind of getting your day started, getting you in that right mindset. So join me there. I'll put a link in the description to both of those. And with all of that being said, let me grab a sip because my throat is parched. There we go. So, if this is your first time tuning in, this month's book is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And we're just pulling some of the concepts from him. Again, I'll put the link in the description to the book. It may be on YouTube now that I think about it. Because I was telling my dad, there's a lot of books that are out there that you can just find on YouTube. And you can just save them and you can just listen to the audio versions of them. So I'll see if there's one on YouTube for that. If not, I'll put a link to like Amazon or something like that where you can find it for like real cheap. It's less than $10. I'll make sure I put that one out there for you. Other than that, let's jump in. So the first principle I want to talk to you about today is, so today we're going to get deep. We're going to get juicy, right? We're going to get juicy. We're going to talk about some real actionable steps. Now, if you follow me for Sweating and Meditating, or you just know me personally, you know I like to talk about the hard things, the stuff that's sometimes a little bit more difficult to get into, and sometimes some of the human deficiencies that like stop us from being like really good. So the first like concept I want to talk about today is when you're talking to people, if you want to improve the conversation that you're having with them, you have to talk about them first. You have to make sure the conversation is surrounding them. That is the most crucial piece of communication I can give you, whether you're trying to get a date, a job, an internship, whatever it is. If you're trying to put yourself in a place where you can get something from an environment, whoever you're talking to, you have to make the conversation about them. This piece of communication advice saved me. Like the first and second time I read the book, this was the piece of information I took away from it, because if you watch the last episode, I was a terrible communicator. Like, I mean, awful. Like, all I wanted to do was get my point across to you about who I was and what I did and how I did it. And it's cute when you're young, but when you're getting older and you're trying to put yourself into environments, people don't want to hear, and I hate to put it this way. Actually, I'll put it this way. People love to talk about themselves. Right. That's why if you're having that issue, if you had that issue like I did, where it feels like communication isn't really working, it's because people feel like in the conversation, you're spending more time talking about yourself and your opinions rather than finding out what it is that they want to talk about. I have been able to put myself in some really good positions just by, for like 5 to 10 minutes or however long the conversation goes, just asking the person constant questions about themselves. Constant questions like, hey, how do you like this? How do you see about this? How do you feel about this? You know, in my brand strategy and coaching business, the number one thing I do with clients is I just ask them questions. Like that's literally it. Like, you want to find out how to bring value to people, you got to ask them questions about what it is that they want, what it is that they do, how they live, their personal beliefs, their political beliefs. Just letting people rattle off about themselves, one, carries a conversation for a long time, right? And so if you're like me, I'm not like, it sounds weird because I'm doing this, I'm not much of a talker. Like that's just not my it's not my MO. Like you're never gonna walk into a room and see Aaron being the person who's like the loudest, everybody's crowding around him talking. That I'm not big on that. I really just love to I've learned to love to just hear other people talk about themselves. And I think it's so cool um, when you get a chance to like, especially, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation. You might have been in a situation like this where like, guys, I'll put it to you. So my fellas out there, you probably know what I'm talking about. You approach a young lady, right? And she's not really trying to have it. She's not really trying to talk to you. But you're constantly asking questions about herself. And you slowly watch that person open up to you. I want you to pay attention to how that works. You're not doing anything super special. I just want to let you know that. People become more comfortable. They become more, what's the word I'm looking? They become more vulnerable when it comes across like you care about who they are and what they do. Some of the most effective communicators in my life, some of the people I look up to the most, who I have close mentorship relationships with, all they want to do is hear about Aaron. How's your day been? How's your week been? How's your relationship with God? What's going on with what's going on with your health? What's going on with your mental health? All of this kind of stuff. What is going on with you? That's all they're asking me questions about who I am, and I feel so safe in those environments. And then, needless to say, obviously they're very wealthy because, like I said in the last episode, if you learn how to communicate, if you're an effective communicator, sky's the limit when it comes to finances. Just flat out, period. And it's the same thing with forming relationships, whether that's you want to start dating or getting a job or whatever it is. If you are an effective communicator, you're going to find yourself in better environments. And when you find yourself in those environments, it is so important to make sure that you are spending time talking about the other person's interests. When I go into a job interview, it's not just them interviewing me. Well, I haven't been in a job interview in like 3 years now, but when I was going into job interviews, it's not about just them interviewing me, them finding out how awesome and handsome and beautiful Aaron is, even though all those things are present. I'm also interviewing the company. I'm asking the recruiter questions about what it looks like to like level up in the company, what the recruiter's interested in, what things and skills are they looking for. When you talk to people about their interests, about their background, about where they're coming from, what they think, there's this door that opens up. There are multiple doors that open up because now you know things about the person, even if they're being a little standoffish. Now you know things about the person that they may not have given you up front if you spend too much time talking about yourself. And I'll tell you what, some of the people I cannot stand being around the most are people who dominate conversations about themselves. Gracious. It's like, and this is why I don't want to say this because there's probably people watching. This is why I screen phone calls, because there are people who will literally call you just so they can talk about themselves. They will ask you questions about what's going on in your life. Oh yeah, how's your day? Oh, that's good. You had a good day? Girl, me too. Let me tell you about my day. They will literally call you just so they have the opportunity to talk about their day. And that's fine if you want to entertain it, but if you're busy like me, if you always have something on the next hour of your schedule, I don't have time to just sit here and listen to you talk about your day all day, Karen. Like I'm so sorry. Let me call you back when I get a chance. I'm gonna call you in a little bit, because it feels so selfish, right? It's like if you wanted to just talk about it, you could have just done that by yourself. You could have just talked to yourself, and we would have been just fine. Like, you called me. Don't you want to hear about don't you want to ask me about me? And so again, just going back to the main point, if you want to be a more effective communicator, if you want to have better conversations with people, talk to them about their interests. Find out what it is that they love to do, what they like. Ask about the kids. And this is actually, I'll give you a part B to that here too. But yeah, just talk to people about what's going on in their lives. Part B to that is you gotta be genuine. right? Because like one of the caveats that the author gives, Dale Carnegie, he says if you take these principles and you abuse them, it's going to backfire on you really, really poorly. And I'll give you an example of where I tried to abuse this principle and it backfired. Hey, if you're watching this, I just want to let you know about an awesome opportunity. If you're a business owner or an online entrepreneur, my name is Aaron Roberts, and I'm the owner-operator of Deliverance Brand Strategy and Coaching. Partnering with Deliverance is the most crucial step in growing your brand to the next level. Business owners and entrepreneurs miss out on thousands of dollars in potential sales every single month because they aren't producing consistent content for their core audience. What I'm going to help you do is focus your efforts into real actionable steps to make sure that your brand reaches a wider viewer base and maintains more of your core audience. Maybe you're new and you have a really cool idea, but you don't know how to get it off the ground. We can help there too. Deliverance can actually coach you through many of the pitfalls of business ownership. That means you get your idea off the ground faster and stay in business longer. If you want more details on how you can get my personalized strategies and business coaching, then go ahead and visit my website, deliveranceBSC.com. Oh, and here's the best part. You can try me before you buy me. When you visit my website, you can set up a free consultation. We can sit down and talk about your business, your goals, your vision, most importantly, how I can bring your brand value. You'll also get access to many of my free resources every single month. So, go to the website, go ahead and set up a free consultation, deliveranceBSC.com. I look forward to partnering with you. And I remember one time, I forgot what the environment was, but I met someone and I'm asking them questions about their life, and really and truly, I don't particularly care. I'm just talking to you because I need to come across like I'm type A, right? I need to come across like I'm bouncy and all this kind of stuff. And then I met them a second time and I did not remember anything at all, period. They're talking to me and they're excited. They feel like we formed some sort of relationship. And I'm just staring at them like, yeah, oh, word. I have no clue who they are. The part B to this is you have to be genuine when you're talking to people. You have to remember, don't ask them about their kids if you don't care about their kids. Don't do that, right? Ask them about their kids and be genuine. Remember their names. Remember their kids' names. Remember their kids' names. Remember what they're telling you, not just so you can get something out of it, but because it's important, right? And speaking from a biblical worldview, I think probably one of the major reasons Jesus was such an effective communicator, and there's so many effective communicators in the Bible, but I'm always going to put him at the top of the list, is because he genuinely cared. Like he would call somebody by their name, ask them about how they were doing, and then legitimately hold a conversation about that topic. I feel like he was that kind of person when he was here on earth. To oh, that's what's going on with you? Oh, what's your dog's name? Oh, he's a really cute dog. And then so the next time he comes back around and you get a chance to talk to him again, he can ask you about those things in a genuine sense, really making a connection. And I think that's so important because this principle can be abused really, really, really easily. But it's one of those principles that if it is abused, it can ruin relationships. It can really, really ruin relationships. So definitely keep that in mind. Point number 2. This one, good Lord, I feel like I'm giving you guys all my secrets. But I'm always going to try and be vulnerable and open. So point number 2, I'll just come out flat with it, is that you never actually win an argument. I know what you're thinking is what do you mean? If I debate and I get my point across, I win. Not always. Here's the reason I say that. And it's a quote, I can't even remember who gave it to me. I think it's in the book itself, right? It says, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still, right? And I take this back to maybe disciplining kids or something like that. If you beat your kid, I used to get a lot of whoopings as a kid. I was just that kid. If you get into trouble, but it's not explained to you why you got in trouble, or what it is that you did wrong, or why it is that what you did was unacceptable, and you just get punished, you're not going to change your mind actually on like what you were doing, right? Like if you're playing in the street and somebody just grabs you up, whoops you, and then puts you back in the yard, you're not going to understand, okay, great, playing in the street was a problem. Now, over time, you may be like, I'm not going to play in the street because I get punished for it. But as you get older and you realize you're not going to be punished for it anymore, you're going to continue to do that. I see a lot of times, and I watch a lot of podcasts. I watch a lot of just like interviews and different things like that, where the podcaster, it turns into a debate rather than like an interview, because it's almost like one person is trying to get their point across more than the other. And like last episode, what we talked about in I believe it was point number 2, seek to understand the other person's feelings. If you are just berating someone because of the way they think, if you are just coming down on someone, or if you're just like in their face about their personal belief, their personal opinion, whatever it is, please understand, when you walk away from that conversation, you did not win. Here's why. It's in the name of the book. How to Win Friends and Influence People. You cannot win friends by berating someone else's personal opinion. I just don't believe that. I don't believe I can walk into a room, tell you your shoes are ugly, your hat's backwards, that you don't speak correct English, and you'll be my friend. There's no possible way. You may act a certain type of way, but you're not actually my friend. And I want to make sure that I'm not getting too far away from like the main point, because it's kind of like how we handle things in society now, right? You see it on social media a lot. Somebody will put up a post, somebody will leave a comment, or maybe a different post having a differing opinion. And rather than seeking to understand where each person is coming from, each person is just berating the other person's opinion. Not even in like a professional or just like a common sense like type of way. They're just being mean and nasty. And all they're waiting for is for one person to acquiesce or give up or surrender. And it's like, even if they did that, they don't think the way you think now. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't believe what you believe just because you told them what they believe is stupid. Like you haven't actually taken the time to understand where they're coming from. Now here's why. Because when we talk to people, we are more, how can I put it? We're more interested in influencing the other person's process. We don't care what happens to them after we leave. All I want you to do is think the way I think. That's it. We're not even interested in winning friends half the time. We just want to talk to you so you believe what I believe. I actually caught myself in the middle of this a little while ago. It was crazy. I saw somebody put up a post about, I think it was something political, right? And I usually stay out of that kind of stuff, but it was something that hit me, and I was like, oh man, let me write a comment back. And I'm not the type of person to get on there and put negative stuff, so I don't want you to think that's what I was doing. But as I was writing it out, I was like, I haven't even taken the time to really understand what this person is trying to say, what they're coming across as. But I'm automatically putting a comment rebutting what I believe they're about to say, what I believe that they're doing. And that's not healthy, right? Because all I'm doing is just assuming this person's point of view, this person's thought process. And it's like, if I took the time to understand where they were coming from, doesn't mean I'll agree. It doesn't mean my rebuttal will make them change their mind. But at the same time, I can avoid being unkind to someone by making sure that I take the time to listen and understand rather than just like criticize what they're saying, right? Like really take that quote to heart. Like, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. And I can tell you right now, from my own personal life, that's how I do things. If you want to cuss me out and all that good great stuff, that's cool, right? Especially now as an adult, that's cool. Do you, whatever. I can turn off my social media feed. I don't need it like that. But you're not going to change my mind by being disrespectful. There's no shape, there's no way. Absolutely not. And you're definitely not going to change my mind by like overpower. Like, don't raise your voice, raise your argument, make a better argument. And like a part B to that, be comfortable with people not agreeing with where you're coming from. I'm not really, well, I get it, but I don't understand why we haven't like evolved out of this constant need for people to agree with us. It's like if I say ABC, I need you to also say ABC. It's like, but that's not necessary. Like, you can believe ABC and the other person can believe, DEF, and you both still be happy, you both still be cool. I actually, and I'll say this last piece and then I'll get out of here. I see it a lot like in the church itself, right? One of the things I've always had the question of, because I grew up observing the Sabbaths, I still observe the Sabbaths. That's Friday evening to Saturday evening, and like explaining that to people was almost like it was like a foreign concept. Now it's not. I don't worship a different God from outside of the Bible. Same God in the Bible. This is not like something I made up or my family made up or whatever community made up. It's in the Bible, and people like explaining it to them. I've had people like really try to like debate and come across and all this other kind of stuff, and I was like, I don't debate anybody going to church on Sunday. I don't. As a matter of fact, if you invite me, I'll go with you to church on Sunday. So it was always confusing to me for people to take this thing that I do that has evidence, that has backing, and want to like tear it down, not necessarily tear it down, but like remove that principle from my mindset. And it's like, why? Like, it's okay to disagree. You can disagree and still be friends. You can disagree and still be kind. You can disagree and still be a loving community. It's okay to disagree. You don't have to be on the same like level all the time. Like, unity isn't everybody agrees to the same thing. Unity is, even though we may have our differences, we can still work in tandem towards the same goal. And I think that's really important to keep in mind. But hey, I want to thank you for joining me for second episode of the Think on These Things podcast. I know I went a little bit over. I'm trying to keep it like under or right at 20 minutes because I want to make sure that you guys get what you got to get, go about your day. But if you join me again, I just want to thank you so much. If you're a business owner or online entrepreneur, definitely visit my website, deliveranceBSC.com. We can sit down, we can talk about how I can bring value to your brand, and basically you'll get, free, what's the word? I'm sorry, dribbling all over myself. You'll get access to all my free resources every single month. Go check out the website right now, commitment-free consultation. I want to find out how I can bring you value. DeliveranceBSC.com. Links in the description for everything that we talked about today in terms of like products and services. Either way, if no one has told you today, I love you. Don't just live life, live it abundantly, and love the life that you live. And I will catch you guys next time. Peace.